So in our last example, we're going to look at integer division, and we're going to view division through the lens of multiplication or its inverse operations. We often call this, if I look at division through multiplication, as a missing factor approach. So let's look at this relationship between multiplication and division. We know that 12 divided by 4 gives us 3 because 3 times 4 is the same as 12. That is, if you gave me any real numbers, a, b, and c, where b is not 0, because I'm not going to divide by 0, then c divided by b gives me a if I can take it back to multiplication. That is, a times b is equal to c. So in our case, we're going to let a be equal to 3, b is going to be equal to 4, and c is going to be equal to 12. So we said 12 divided by 4 is equal to what number? That would only be true if I could figure out what number times 4 is going to give me 12. That tells me that a had to be equal to 3. So let's look at how it helps us to figure out why a negative divided by a negative results in a positive quotient. That is, if I took negative 12 divided by negative 4, what would my answer be? Well, using the missing factor approach, this would tell me that box times a negative 4 had to give me a negative 12. So what do I have to multiply a negative 4 by to get negative 12? Well, the first thing I have to do is I notice that I have to multiply by something positive. A positive times a negative is going to keep that answer negative. So now I know, well, what times negative 4 is going to give me a negative 12? That has to be a positive 3 times a negative 4 is going to give me a negative 12. So that tells me my answer had to be a positive, and not only that, 3. On the other hand, what if I wanted to know why a positive divided by a negative is negative? Well, again, I could use my answer. Positive 12 divided by a negative 4 is going to give me question mark. So if I'm typing, I could just use question mark. That means I'm answering question mark times a negative 4 is equal to a positive 12. Well, again, what do I have to multiply a negative by in order to make it positive? Well, that tells me, first of all, what times a negative is positive. That means that question mark has to be a negative, because only a negative times a negative is a positive. So that tells me that I need to multiply negative 4 by a negative 3. That is, a negative 3 times a negative 4 is going to give me a positive 12. So that tells me, using my rule, 12 divided by a negative 4 is equal to a negative 3. So a positive divided by a negative is going to be negative.